Hey everyone, Charles here. And first of all, thank you for stopping by my podcast. If this show inspires you, makes you think, or gives you that courage to jump into action, please help by donating to this show. Click the link in the description and donate. Your donation helps us with production and finding great guests moving forward. Thank you and enjoy.
Whether you're kicking it in the sticks or kicking it at home, lounge in upholstery with a contemporary feel designed for relaxed living with the Brantley Gilbert Collection at Morris Home. Enter online at morrisathome.com/win for your chance to win a guitar personally autographed by Brantley Gilbert or one of many Morris Home gift cards to upgrade your home today. That's morrisathome.com/win for your chance to win from Morris Home.
Hey everybody, and welcome to The Jump. If this is your first time here, welcome. Listen, what I do is I bring interesting guests that are doing phenomenal things to help you jump. And when I mean jump, I don't mean just, jump up and down. I mean jump into success, jump into greatness. So I feel that these guys and ladies can make you get to that next level. So if you're ready, let's go.
You know you should be doing something different, right? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you believe that you have the gift for greatness or have a special talent, but don't have the courage to take that next step? Always wondering how others made it look so easy? Well, welcome to Jump, the show that will bring you special guests just like you and me. How did they get the courage to jump into greatness? Doing what they love and living the good life. So, get ready to jump with your host, Charles Matthews Jr.
Yes, we are live, and if you are listening to us and you want to see who my special guest is, you can go over to Twitch. You can go to my website, charlesmatthewsjr.com, and you can watch the interview live right there. So bringing on my special guest right now, I actually met Ivan on LinkedIn, and he sent me a special guest for me to interview him, and I'm like, listen, he's doing great things. I want to bring him on the show. So please welcome to the show, Ivan.
Hello.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm good. So thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're always busy schedule to come on the show. But before we start, where are you calling in from?
Calling in from just outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, I'm jealous already because you guys don't know what snow look like right now, right?
I'm from Chicago, so I'm familiar.
Okay, there you go. So tell us about your upbringing. You said you're from Chicago, so what was Ivan like as a little kid?
I mean, I was a really kind of reserved kid, a little shy, but a big imagination, so lots of the ideas and the thoughts and opinions that I had growing up, I had them in my head, but, I wasn't exactly who I am now, who is someone who, is very outspoken and opinionated. I guess maybe I just didn't have the guts to be as opinionated back then as I am now. But, I was raised in a 2-parent household, oldest of 5. And, I had a very good, regular middle class upbringing. I played a lot of sports. I was an athlete. Throughout school, football, basketball, track, and really just had a pretty good childhood. My parents did end up getting divorced, so that was an experience. But went on to go to school at Howard University in Washington D.C., where I got a degree in broadcast journalism, a minor in Spanish. And I don't know how far ahead you want me to go, but yeah, my childhood was good.
Nah, I'm listening to it because I'm confused now from this quiet, small, reserved child to doing all these things that you're in the public eye. What happened?
Yeah, there's a story behind it. So, I was always, a very bright kid. always very smart. Like I said, very imaginative. I would be at the top of my class in science and things of that nature when I was younger. But, as I kind of matriculated through junior high and high school, there became this theme, that Ivan has so much potential, but he doesn't tap into it, right? So at all the parent-teacher conferences, my, parents would come in and the teacher would be, Ivan is so smart. Ivan could do this. He could do that. But, or only if he did this, he'd be able to do this. And, as I got older, I started to resent the word potential because it meant that I could do something, but I didn't do it. And I recognized, and it took me a while, really into my professional career, but I got tired of having potential I wanted to actually do. And that's really the biggest difference. I recognize that, the difference between those who were successful and unsuccessful, the ones who were able to live out their dreams, were the ones who got on with it. They didn't make excuses. They recognized that they had a voice and they used it. They overcame fear. And lots of the things that were holding me back were really my fear of judgment, fear of somebody not liking what I said, fear of someone not agreeing with me, just fear of being myself, really. I think that's what it comes down to with a lot of people is just, not having that confidence in yourself. You're worried about someone's affirmation or someone's approval. And I think I worried about that way too much when I was younger. And as I got older, I'm like, hey, I got stuff to say. I'm intelligent. I'm smart. I'm educated. I'm talented. God has given me my own set of gifts. He's made me uniquely me. So I'm going to embrace that and I'm going to shine in it. And I think that's the difference in my life now.
Okay, so let me touch one point on that. You said, the shyness, each person has a gift, and I agree with you 110%.
Right.
Who helped you come out of that shyness?
To be honest, who helped me to come out of that shyness was really the people that I read about in my books. So I'll just list, and the motivational videos that I watch. So I'll just list them off. John H. Johnson, the founder of Ebony Magazine. I read his book called Succeeding Against the Odds, and it just changed my life. This is a guy who was born in 1918, and what he referred to as the Mississippi mud, like Arkansas, Mississippi, and was poor. 1918, black man, mom, was around just after slavery. And this guy went on to become one of the most successful people in America, overcame all different trials and tribulations, racism, doubters, you name it. And he became extremely successful. So that book changed my life. Another book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I read that book and really just recognizing that, I could make what I thought about materialize in the physical form, and that my thoughts and my mindset directly impacted how my life would become. And I read that book, changed my life. And then people like, Grant Cardone and, the Shark Damon John, The Rock, just seeing how, his story of failing at football and, deciding to follow his dreams of wrestling and becoming this huge megastar when, he was supposed to go in the NFL and he didn't make it. And he actually followed, his heart, followed what he believed his purpose to be. And now look at him. He's one of the biggest stars in the world. And just kind of seeing those stories really motivated me. Seeing so many people come from, the depths of darkness and overcome adversity and become successful really made me recognize that I had absolutely no excuse to be unsuccessful.
I think I need to talk to Think and Grow Rich and get some shares in that, because a lot of people I interview, that is the book of choice. So I think I need to call him up because he getting a lot of promo on my show. Because
I bet. Yeah.
That is a book that definitely a lot of people are saying, it did something, it changed them. But when you read it, though, this is why I want to narrow this down, though. When you read it, what's the first thing that popped into your head and said, that was what I was missing?
There was a part in the book, I think it was like the 3 foot, like something where this guy was mining and he was like 3 feet away from striking gold, but he gave up. And then somebody else came later and kind of like, I guess it was a fault line or something where kind of the trail towards the goal, like kind of was off course a little bit. So somebody else came and got it and became rich. And I'm just like, wow, like that's what happens when you don't follow through.
Yes.
That's what happens when you give up too early, you know, and it's just like, I don't know how far I am away from my purpose. I don't know how far away I am from success. So the only thing I can do is keep going, because you never know when that breakthrough is going to happen. And I think so many people, we give up prematurely, or we change course prematurely, and we could be 3 feet away or 3 inches away. So, you know, life is a game of inches. You know, you see that in football or whatever, where, you know, the game-winning drive, somebody's this far away from scoring and winning the game. So, you know, I didn't want to lose that way.
Yeah, and someone actually, I don't know, many people, they drew cartoons about that same point that you're talking about.
Right.
And when you see it and understand it, you're like, okay, you know, other people, there's one guy on the left side, he's digging like 13 different holes.
Right.
And the one guy on the right side is digging one hole, and he's just going deeper and deeper. And he ain't stopping until he gets to the bottom. And
Absolutely.
I think, and that's it. You know, if you put yourself all over the place, you ain't going to concentrate on that one goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that part really interesting, that I gravitated to that part as well.
Right.
So what do you teach others then? Because, you know, I see that you're a person that likes to share your knowledge, and you like to go out there and do other stuff and help other people.
Right,
So
absolutely.
So what is the part that you share, that you learned?
Yeah, well, really, you know, my whole platform is Defy Gravity, right? And Defying Gravity is about overcoming those obstacles, overcoming the challenges, maybe doubters, naysayers, maybe your own personal limitations that you're imposing on yourself. You know, I help people to overcome those things and to recognize that there's greatness within them. You know, I don't believe any of us are here to just merely exist. We all have gifts. We all have a purpose, and it's our responsibility, you know, to share that with the world. So I help people to uncover their gifts and their talents and to tap into that purpose. And then also, you know, I focus on helping them to build their companies. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a celebrity publicist. So I work with a lot of individuals, helping them to build their brands, helping them to, you know, put the proper systems in place to grow a successful company and to market and promote it. So I focus on that. And then really, I'm big on what I refer to as my 4 F's, which is faith, family, fortune, and fitness. And I say fortune because it sounds better than finance. But, you know, those are my 4 F's. So I really strive to help people to succeed in those 4 areas of life, because I think that those are so critical to success.
All right, I'm taking you back. When did you start your company?
I started my company in December of 2014. So we're actually 6 years old now.
Okay, why?
Why?
Yeah.
I started my company, actually, you know, when I was at Howard University, I was thinking about going into broadcast journalism, being on TV and things of that nature. And actually, my dad, who was a longtime journalist for like 20 years, he started a public relations company. So that was his first step into entrepreneurship. And while I was in like my junior year, I started working with him. So I got to learn about entrepreneurship. I learned about PR, and I loved the flexibility, I guess you can say, of PR, where you weren't confined to a beat, like, you know, covering politics or covering sports or whatever, but you could venture out and work with different clients in healthcare or politics, social justice, business, whatever the entertainment, whatever the case may be. So I actually worked with my dad for about 6 years, and anyone who's worked with a family member understands how those dynamics can be, because sometimes, you know, okay, I'm your son, but I'm also working with you and for you. And it's kind of like, you know, and then parents always have their idea of how their kids are going to be successful. So they have your whole life mapped out for you. And sometimes it's like, hey, you know, I got dreams. I got, you know, visions for where I want my life to go to. So, you know, really long story short, you know, I felt, you know, I learned a lot from my dad, you know, about entrepreneurship, you know, the good and the bad of growing a business, managing a team, all of that, work with some dynamic clients. But it came to a point where, you know, I just recognized that I needed to narrate my own story. I recognized that if I wanted to be successful the way I wanted to be successful and live a life that I was truly happy with, that the only person who could do that for me was me. So I made the tough decision. It was very difficult. But I made the decision to break away, and I actually started my own company.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then when you started your own company, what was the ups and the downs?
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer. Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
The ups and the downs was not making money in the beginning. so that was the downs. So, it was difficult. I started my company not really with any money saved up, but I just had a vision, and I had it made up in my mind that this company is going to succeed. And even if it didn't, I was going to fail on my own terms. So that's pretty much what it was. And, so the downs was just, struggling with, bringing in the clients and, working with my dad. I developed a pretty good, database. I had a lot of contacts, media contacts, and I understood the business. So that wasn't the case. But actually, when I started my company, I lived in this small town called Palm Coast, Florida. It's between Jacksonville and Orlando. And it's really kind of just like this coastal town. I moved down there because my mom was down there and there were palm trees and stuff like that. But and the beach was 10 minutes away. But it really wasn't conducive to starting the kind of business that I wanted, which was an arts, culture, lifestyle, and entertainment. Mm-hmm. So I'm working with these small, town individuals who really kind of had a small way of thinking. They weren't big city, New York, LA, Chicago type of thinking with their businesses. So it was tough. I'm working with clients for $200-$300 a month when I first started my company. And I'm having to juggle 15, 18 clients just to make ends meet, barely, So that was the lows of the company. And then, I'm in a relationship and, it's just is this going to work? Is it not? Is your company ever going to take off? So I had some decisions to make. So we moved to the Atlanta area. And ever since I moved here, it just kind of really took off because, I have the ambition, the vision, the intelligence, I have the go-getter attitude. And Atlanta was just a city where, it's a great, melting pot and a hotbed for entertainment and business and entrepreneurship. And, my company fit right in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So let me ask you this personal question.
Yeah.
The relationship.
Right.
Survived or died?
Oh, yeah. I'm married now. Celebrated my 5-year anniversary. Just in October, and we got kids, man. So we're doing good. Good.
Congratulations on that, man. Congratulations, because I do 2 shows a day, and the show just before yours, the person said, you have to find somebody that's going to support you,
right? Jump
on board, the good and the bad,
right,
and ride it out.
Yeah, she was there from the very beginning, man. When I first started my company, and I'll tell you, I started my company months before we got married. So she's like, "You're gonna start a company right now? We got no money. We're scrambling, scraping up the money for the wedding and all of this stuff. Beautiful wedding, but it was stressful. I wrote literally the last check at the table, during dinner, at the wedding. But it's she was there from the very beginning. She's seen the process, and she's in the healthcare arena. So it's more structured. She didn't really understand entrepreneurship at all. Mm-hmm. So really, she just had to believe in me. I'm like, look, I'm going to do this and it's going to work. You got to trust me, So in the beginning, when I'm scraping pennies, it's kind of I'm with you, but, come on, now.
See, that was smart. You locked her in at the end. Oh, by the way, as we're getting married.
Right. Yeah. So now that I look back on it, I'm like, wow, yeah, I did do that.
All right. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people to do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes. Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Yes, we're back with my special guest, all the way from the ATL. You know, he's living this good life, and we're just talking about family, business, why you got into it. But what I want to talk about now is the struggles, because the show is called Jump for a reason. We are here to help people get to that next level and don't stop. So the first question I had to is, what was your first struggle?
My first struggle with business was just making the decision to do it. I think that's typically the biggest decision, just deciding to do it. And like I mentioned, I was working with my dad, so I was battling with, loyalty, I was struggling with pursuing my dreams and pursuing my vision for my life and being loyal to, my father, who, I was always close with and I did everything with. So that was probably, my first major struggle. It really, it was hard. It was really hard. Like I mentioned, I worked with him for 6 years, and, that was kind of, a very difficult period to do that because, of course, he wasn't happy about it.
Okay. All right. So we're going to play a quick game. You ready? All right. All right. Okay. It's called Rapid Fire. I'm going to shoot these out. And if you want to explain, like, a 30-second explanation, you're more than welcome to do that. But This is all about rapid fire. Okay.
Got it.
All right. Here we go. Hip hop or R&B?
R&B.
Favorite book?
Think and Grow Rich.
Favorite food?
That's tough. I'm going to go with pizza.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I like Limitless.
Limitless. What is your hidden talent that nobody knows about?
My hidden talent nobody knows about. Oh, that's a tough one. I can make this weird clicking noise with the back of my throat. And I had a flat top back in the day in school, and I used to always hit on my flat top. And people would be like, "What is that?" They thought it was my hair, but it was me making this noise. And they're like, "What in the world?" So there you go.
Okay, so this I'm choking. So just letting you guys know out there, if you need a beat or something new for your song or your rap game, you just reach out at him. All right, song in the shower.
Song in the shower. Gosh, that's a tough one. And I know it's rapid fire. What do I sing in the shower? I don't know. I gotta pass on that one.
All right. What's the song just before you jump on stage to introduce one of your clients? What are you getting hyped on? What song do you listen to before you jump on stage?
You Don't Know by Jay-Z.
All right. Now here it is. This lovely lady that you're with. All right. If you can give her the ultimate dinner. You're going to tell her now you're expanding into another company and you got to sweet talk her now.
Yeah.
What are you making for dinner?
What am I making for her dinner? Goodness gracious. Okay. For dinner, oh, goodness gracious. Oh, what am I making for dinner? Okay, so seafood. I know it's going to be seafood. Probably some lobster tail with some handmade garlic mashed potatoes, some asparagus, maybe some shrimp, and a glass of Riesling or Moscato, and maybe I'll have some tiramisu or something for dessert. Trying to be creative here.
Listen, all I'm telling you is if you mess up, you know she's looking for this dinner, right?
Right.
All right. Thanks for playing Rapid Fire.
Absolutely.
So at least we get to know you a little bit better, you know, what you like, what your interest is, and what your family's like. So what are you trying to achieve in life right now?
Right now, what I'm trying to achieve is just leaving a legacy where I've impacted millions of people around the world. I'm big on legacy. I'm big on leaving something behind for my children, for my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and just other people to benefit from. So like I said, I don't believe that any of us are here to merely exist. We all have a purpose. And so I'm on this, goal to just, make sure that I'm remembered and that, I didn't just exist. And that there's valuable knowledge and information that I can share and that I can leave behind. So that's why I wrote my book, Defy Gravity, Unleashing Your Greatness Within, to share, some of my experiences, to share strategies for success and, how I overcame some of my fears and some of the doubts in order to help other people to do that. So, I believe that it's my purpose to help other people to launch and to defy gravity. So that's what I'm striving to do. So that's one of my biggest goals.
Do you have a son or a daughter?
I actually have 2 sons and I have a daughter.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what do you, I'm going to start with the boys first, because, talking to men, is going to be different than talking to your daughter, right?
Right.
How do you explain to your boys about being an entrepreneur?
Oh, yeah. And he asks a lot of questions right now. So really being an entrepreneur, you have to, eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. So right now I'll just start with my oldest son. He's like really obsessed with reptiles right now. So it's like, can I get a bearded dragon? And can I get this animal? Can I get this? And he knows everything about lizards. It's crazy. So right now, he wants to make this YouTube channel. And I'm just like, hey, what I want you to recognize is that you can do whatever you want to do, but you have to do it and you have to put your all into it. Okay, so, you don't have all the answers now, but whatever you choose to do it and do it for real. So if you want to study lizards, I'm going to buy you all the books. When we're in Barnes and Nobles or Borders or Books A Million, he wants a lizard book. I'm getting it. Okay, you study it. You're watching all these YouTube videos, so we're going to put it to use. You're going to make a YouTube channel. You're going to educate young kids about it, and we're going to see what happens with it. You can go to school. You can be the lizard expert if you want. Maybe you have a show on National Geographic or the Discovery Channel, but I just want him to dream. I tell my kids to dare to dream. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I want to leave behind with my son, because I think too often, even as adults, we don't understand the value of dreaming. This concept of what's realistic comes into play and deters us from, striving to be what we have always envisioned ourselves becoming.
All right. Now, the reason I asked you to separate your son from your daughter, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that it's harder for a woman to go out there and be an entrepreneur. It's getting a little bit better, but, it's, women have to strive a little stronger to be an entrepreneur out there. Do you agree?
I don't agree, to be completely honest. I know here in the States, and I'm a black man, I know black women, I think they make the majority of the entrepreneurs, at least in our community. So, and I do see a lot of women really just making some powerful moves in entrepreneurship. So I think while that has been the case in the past, I do see the tide changing. So definitely, I would definitely encourage my daughter to, be an entrepreneur if that's what she desired to be.
No, I believe that they should be an entrepreneur. But do you think what I'm asking you, do you think it's even keel?
Do I think it's even keel? I don't think it's even keel. Because I think that, there's still these societal norms that we have to, combat with that might, say women can't do this, or they're less leaders, or they're more emotional leaders, things of that nature. So, there still are some barriers, that they have to overcome just being women. So I do agree with that.
Yeah, because I like don't get me wrong. I'm pushing my kids. I have a son and a daughter, and I'm pushing her hard to be an entrepreneur. I'm pushing him hard to be an entrepreneur. I just feel like, we haven't hit that tide yet where, if a man goes and asks for a certain grant or a business, people look at a man different than they look at a woman going into the same room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So definitely, I believe that, if you have sons and daughters, we should teach them the same to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship takes you to that next level.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what is she into?
My daughter, she's into a lot of things, she has 2 brothers, so she runs around and plays with them. So she'll dabble in football, but she's very girly, so she's into her Barbies and, doing hair and ballet and stuff like that. So, the verdict's still out on her. Gymnastics has come out. So I think we're going to test some gymnastics and, we'll see. She's only 4. She just turned 4, so she's still figuring it out.
So let me ask you this, and maybe this question will help other people. So my daughter is into a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? One point it was clothes, then now it's photography. You know what I mean? She's an artist. How do you hone an entrepreneur down to one craft?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, lots of times we focus on what we enjoy to do, right? But I think as entrepreneurs, it's what are you good at? Where can you bring the most value? So maybe she loves fashion. Maybe she likes to dress well, but maybe she's better at photography. So maybe she needs to combine the 2. Maybe she needs to be a fashion photographer. And that's how you bring it together, because maybe she just has that eye for fashion. She knows what looks good. She understands the angles, and, her photos just come out brilliantly. I think there's a way to blend your interests together and make it work for you. And definitely in that case.
Okay, I like that. So we're talking about entrepreneurship with everybody out there that's listening, and they're like, okay, they're blending it together. Right. How should an entrepreneur start?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
How should an entrepreneur start? Because
as far as blending it together?
Yeah, because, I think that's a phenomenal idea. You know what I mean? That she loves both. Why should we separate the 2? If someone out there wants to start a business and they like that idea, what's the first step an entrepreneur should take?
The first step an entrepreneur should take would be, just kind of I think figuring out, where the need is. And I think that when you're talking about photography, there's always people who are going to need photography, so, I think that, and that's just what I would do, and of course, like I said, we don't know which one she's stronger at, maybe she's a designer, who knows, but just from the photography standpoint, I think that it's, you recognize that there's so many people in fashion, so many aspiring models and current models, there's so many music artists. Fashion is big and entertainment is big and sports is big everywhere. So I think that one, you just identify the need, which there is one. And then it's about, getting your message out there. So I think it's about showcasing your work. So the first step for her would be to, have her Facebook and her Instagram page and start, loading up some of those photos and letting people see her brilliant work. And then just drawing more traction to the social media so that people can see what she does, and then start pushing it out there, letting people know, attracting people to it. Of course, creating a website, because hers is all visual, so people need to see it. And then it's about building relationships, getting some gigs, building relationships from there. And then in that industry, I think your work has to speak for itself. Either you can shoot or you can't. So, I mean, some people have brilliant ideas, but they just they're lacking the talent, and then some people have the talent and they're lacking the strategy. So if she has the talent, I think that social media and the website and just having central locations where people can access the work and she can share it is important. And then it's about building those relationships and getting to work.
All right. Well, I told her Daddy needs to retire soon, so she needs to, do her thing.
Gotta get on it.
You know what I mean? She's only 10, so I think I got to wait a little bit.
Don't put too much pressure on her.
All right, my friend. We got to quit our last game before we let you go. You ready?
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Now time for pick 3.
It's now time for pick 3. So you're going to pick 3 numbers between 1 and 10, and I'm going to ask you those 3 question. So pick 3 numbers for me.
3 numbers. I'm going to go with 3, 5, and 7.
3, 5, and 7. All right. So first question is, what myth do you want to change about your industry?
What myth do I want to change about my industry? Well, specifically for public relations, typically we see these cutthroat professionals who are willing to do anything for a story. They're willing to lie. They're willing to twist things. And, they're just these socialites who just, pick through drama and things of that nature. I really want to show people how strategic and how, professional of a field public relations is. And I guess it depends on the industry that you're in. But, I work with a lot of entertainment clients, and I think that, sometimes you don't see the professionalism, in the strategy. You see the person who's just rubbing elbows in the club with the celebrities and things of that nature. So I really want to show the strategy and the thought process behind really growing a brand.
And a brand, and you've mentioned the word brand a lot of times. Is your brand your key mark?
Is my brand my key mark?
Yeah, is the brand the key mark in any business?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because that's what you're recognized by. That's your voice.
Okay, so next question is, what is your most memorable failure, and what did you learn from it?
My most memorable failure, and what did I learn from it? I lost a very big client in the beginning, and I think it's because I didn't really assert my voice as much. Sometimes you get into a place where you respect the client so much, especially as a young entrepreneur, you kind of feel like you're blessed to work with that client, right? So you're worried about asserting yourself and feeling like you're overstepping your bounds or whatever. And when in reality, sometimes that client wants you to be that voice, So I think that was one of the biggest lessons. And again, it goes back to, what I talked about earlier, not being reserved, but, people have to respect you and respect your thoughts. And if they can't, then they're not the right fit for you. And what I've learned is, all things aren't for everyone and everyone's not for everyone. So you got to be you, and people are going to like it and accept it, or they're not. And you got to be fine with it either way.
I like that. I do like that, because a lot of times we forget that, we dove in this because we have talents ourselves.
Right.
So we should step up and say what we have to say, because maybe that's why they came to us in the first place.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. Last question. If you were in my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
What question would I ask myself that? I would have asked me about my book, Defy Gravity, Unleashing Your Greatness Within. That's what I would have done.
Okay. What about your book?
Okay, so my book, Defy Gravity, Unleashing Your Greatness Within, like I said, is about helping people to defy gravity. Many of us have dreams. Many of us have visions. All of us want to be successful, happy, and free. But the reality is many of us aren't. And what I tell people in my book is that it's your fault if you haven't accomplished what you set out to accomplish. And I know that sounds harsh, but what I mean is, it's important to blame yourself. And that's the first chapter of my book, Blame Yourself. And of course, there's things that we've all gone through. There's things that we didn't have control over that have happened to us. But the reason that I tell us to blame ourselves is because when we do that, that's the time when we can seize control, seize the power from, a circumstance or an individual that's held us down. We can seize that power for ourselves and tap into our ultimate level of personal and professional greatness. So that's my focus with the book. If you feel like you don't want to live a life of regret or a life of untapped potential, you need to purchase that book. And it's on Amazon currently right now. And it will help you to get through whatever you need to get through, whether it's overcoming fear, getting rid of the naysayers and the doubters, learning how to position yourself for opportunities in business, and, just really developing a success mindset, which is absolutely necessary for you to chart your course towards success.
All right. So one more time, tell us where we can get the book.
So Defy Gravity, Unleashing Your Greatness Within. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on my website, intriguemediagroup.com.
All right, that's intriguemedia.com, and it's all of this is in the description. I put the links, I put the website all in the description, so you can click on it and go for it now. Now, let's talk about your business real quick. If somebody wants to hire you, where can they get a hold of you, and what type of client are you looking for before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking for, just creatives, people who are looking to make an impact in society, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in business, whether it's in the arts. So my company focuses on arts, culture, lifestyle, and entertainment, but I'm looking for change makers, so if that's you, you can definitely reach out to me at intriguemediagroup.com, or you can contact me at area code 202-904-4790. I'm also on Instagram at Ivan the Great.
All right, and there you go. Make sure you get on there and find him out. Go to his website. He's got a lot of great pictures there of what the great things he's done. Some key artists that you've worked with, some famous people that you've worked with. So definitely take the shine. Listen, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. I know just telling your story, will help somebody listening right now to take that opportunity and jump. And that's all we ask for, Like he said, the shine is yours. Why not jump on it and take it? You have the opportunity to go out there and be your own boss. So it's time. Absolutely. So thank you so much for jumping on the show with us.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you liked the show or have a comment, we would love to hear from you. Join our mailing list. And as always, check out our special deals links below. I hope this has inspired you to look at your life and jump. See you next week.
Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer. Amazon is offering sign-on bonuses up to $1,000, plus get up to $20 an hour for select roles. The best part? We're hiring near you. So start now to take home something greater. New, higher wages with a sign-on bonus, a range of real benefits, and career growth opportunities in a top-rated workplace. So earn more and see how great pay and sign-on bonuses can lead to a greater life for you. Go to amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, hope you had a great time listening to the show. If you think I did a great job, please buy me a coffee. I still got a lot of work to do. We would love to hear from you, your feedback, so please click the link and leave us a review. You can help us grow by following us on all social media platforms and sharing this link. Once again, it's time for you to jump. Success is waiting.